All right, hello and welcome everyone to another e-bike review by yours truly, Citizen. And today we're taking a look at an extra special, extra small bike, something completely different than what I normally ride. I'm usually on the big, huge, fat tire bikes, and today we've got this little guy right here. This is the 2021 Fiido D11. So let me ask you this. Are you a person that's searching for a small, compact, foldable, lightweight bike that you can fit in your closet or, fit in a small apartment? You live in a city, you're looking for a bike to commute a few blocks to work, take it in your office building with you, or maybe you live in a one-bedroom apartment or condo at the beach and you want something that folds up in your closet, but then you can bring it out, ride it to the beach, and then cruise around in between people on the congested boardwalk. If you answered yes to any of those, you're looking for that kind of bike, then welcome to the D11. That is where I think this bike shines. It's a very small, compact, lightweight package. You could throw it in an elevator with you or take it up down a flight of stairs, probably no problem. And it would be a good transportation tool for you to use. So we're gonna take a look at this bike today, as we always do, front to back, top to bottom. You can see all the components up close and see what you get for your money. Right now it sells for $9.99 on their website. I'll put a link to the Fiido website in the description below so you can easily get to it. And after we take a look at all the components, we'll go through some of the performance footage I took, show you how it is for different heights of people getting off and on the bike, and then we'll kind of sum it up at the end, and I'll tell you where this bike shines and where it might need some improvement. And before we get started, I want to mention right up front that this bike is here courtesy of Fiido, so thank you, Fiido, for giving me the chance to ride and test and put this bike through its paces and make a review video for the e-bike community to let you know what the average person's perspective is riding this bike and what it's like. So let's take a look at it up close now and see what components come on the Fiido D11. All right, up close with the Fiido, or Fiido. Not sure how you say it. I kind of go back and forth a lot on it, but we'll say Fiido for now. We're starting up here at the tires. They are Heng tires, 20 by 1.75. So they're a skinny tire with street tread on them. And you inflate them up to 45 psi. So they go pretty high. They want them pretty stiff. It's a street tire, so they want it fast rolling. Black tire, black rim, no reflective stripe or anything like that on there. And if we spin around to this side, you can see we do have mechanical disc brakes, both front and back. They're 160 millimeter rotors. I do not see a brand name on the brakes anywhere, so I'm not sure what brand they are, but the stopping power is great. I haven't had any issues with that. You have plenty of braking force with these brakes. The bike does come with full fenders, both front and back. You have to install both fenders when you get the bike. The front one goes on really easily. The back one was more challenging, but we'll get to that when we get to the back of the bike. The fenders do a pretty good job. They get rid of a lot of the spray. You can see, I've got some mud splatter here. It's pretty much impossible to avoid that when you're riding a bike through some rain and mud, so they do a pretty good job. Happy with them. The bike also has a headlight that's, functions off of the bike's battery. You just push one button and you got the headlight on, so I like that. The cables here are tied really nicely. I'm a huge fan of that, actually. This is very neatly tied together with these wrap things. I don't know what you call them, but I like that. The wires do go inside the frame here, sort of. They go in here, but there's an open slot right under here where I can touch the wires right here. So they're not completely enclosed inside the frame. You can see there is no front suspension on the bike and no rear suspension either. And with the seat the way it is with the batteries inside the seat, we'll get to that, you can't put a suspension seat post on this bike either. So you're gonna have no suspension as you ride this. So here is your release for your folding handlebars. You just move this to the side, allows this lever to come down, and the handlebars just flop down, just like every other beanstalk style handlebars on a folding e-bike. And then of course the other fold mechanism is right here. I'll put a clip of me folding the bike so you can see what that's like. Back up here on the handlebars, we've got a little rubber insert here on the fingertips so it feels nice in your hand. Like I said, the brakes had plenty of stopping power. They also have right here the brake cutoff wires, so when you pull the brake, your motor stops. Good safety feature there. We've also got our shifting mechanism here on this side. It is 7 gears. There is the brand. I'm not familiar with it because, like I said, I'm just your average person. I'm not a cyclist, so maybe you guys will know what that brand is. And it says on there DSL 200 dual lever, and it's 7 speeds. All your shifting is done here with your thumb. So you push this one, takes you down gears. You push this little one here, it takes you up gears. You know, your throttle is right here, so your right thumb is very active during riding because everything happens on your right hand. Pretty much not much going on here over on the left. You can, you know, work your horn and headlight and the display screen here. The handlebars are not adjustable up and down. You cannot raise them. This release lever here, if you release this, it just allows you to turn them like that. So you can adjust where your brake levers fall, I guess. So that's what that does. And then the other lever here is the one that allows it to fold down. So no way to raise the handlebars. I actually wish I could have taken them higher because you have to lean over a little bit with how high I usually put up the seat. What else on the handlebars over here? We got the display screen. We can turn that on. It's different than, whoops, well, here actually, we got to do this first. So in order to turn the bike on, you got to go on the back of the seat and push this button here. You see the tail light comes on. Tail light's on all the time, and that powers on the bike. And you push this, and that turns on your display screens. So most screens have kind of a grayish background, and then the letters and numbers are black. This is the reverse of that. It's a black background, and the numbers are white, maybe kind of a bluish tint to them. You can see it gives you battery indicator, your kilometers per hour, your pedal assist level over here in the parentheses, and then down here is your like trip meter. So I have not found an odometer on this. You can see it just reads 0 every time you turn the bike off. It resets to 0. So I don't know the total miles I put on this bike. It's probably over 50, 60 by now. And it's in kilometers an hour. You can't change it to miles from what I've seen. I haven't found a way to do miles an hour. And also this is in kilometers. You know, I can't get it to miles. I assume it's in kilometers. It doesn't really say, but based off just riding it and knowing how far I've gone and seeing it read out here, kilometers here as well. So everything's in kilometers. You're gonna have to learn how to do that conversion in your head to translate to miles if you care. So you got your power button and you got your mode button. So, well, the M button, that which changes your pedal assist level. It's got 1, 2, 3. That's it. So that's really all you're changing here. If you push this, it doesn't do anything. It shows a headlight thing, but your headlight is not on. To get the headlight on, you gotta push this over here. That turns the headlight on. And then you got your horn, kind of a gentle horn. I like it. The grips are rounded, they're rubber. You can spin them if you grab and really twist it, but they're not. I didn't find them spinning in my hands as I rode. They're locked in there pretty good. All right, as we slide back the bike, let's talk about the seat. The seat is, I mean, it's squishy to the touch here, but when you ride it, it is very firm. I am a big fan of really cushy plush seats. This is not that, so if you like a very soft pillow top seat, you're probably not going to like this one, but I mean, this is pretty easy to change out. I mean, it looks like any standard bike seat will clip in there, so good to go there if you want to change it out. There's no spring loaded or anything like that in it. That might be helpful for suspension if you bought a spring loaded seat. This seat kind of wore on me as I was doing the range test, riding this for a long time on that. It wasn't the most comfortable one I've ever been on, but it's just, you know, your basic normal bike seat. You can change that out at your pleasure. This has your batteries inside here. I'll pull the seat post out so you can see what that looks like. But to do that, we got to do a couple things here. We have to turn the bike off. So we're gonna push the power button right there again. You see the taillight go out. And then this little plugger here, you got to twist this and pull out, and then that unplugs it. And now we can release the seat here and pull this seat stem out, which is huge. Let me pull it out. Okay, there you go. It is out. And as you can see, it's pretty enormous. I mean, look at how long it is compared to the bike. There's a lot of batteries in there. This is your battery pack. It's 11.6 amp hour battery, so pretty big for this little bike. It does have these markings on the back here where, you know, the max insert and minimum insert, even though it says on it max insert, and then down here it says mix insert. But this seat goes up super high. I mean, a tall person could ride this. The only problem is, you know, the taller you put the seat, the more you're going to be bending over for the handlebars because they don't go up at all. So this is a huge huge battery for this bike, really. And the seat post is kind of, I mean, I'll try to do this one-handed, but it's a snug fit. You got to get it angled just right to get in there, and it's not easy to do with just one hand. All right, well, we got it back in there now. So now we got to plug the bike back in. So we grab our plug and you just push this in like that, clicks in place, and then you push the on button. Now you've got power and you can turn the screen on in the front. But let's turn that back off for now. Kind of a cool design. Never seen anything like that before. Very, very interesting. This is a very uniquely designed bike. I like the design of it. It's very cool looking. And this seat post is so long actually that it's sticking out the bottom right here. This is the seat post. That's the end of the frame. And then it's hanging out by 1.5 inches down there. So when you put the seat, and I've got it up to where I ride it. So when you put the seat the whole way down, there's a ton of seat posts sticking out the bottom. Now, while we're back here at the back of the bike, let's talk about this rear fender. So you've got to install this. One mounting point is right here, where you've got a bolt that just goes in from the back of the fender, and there's a threaded hole right there for it to screw into, no problems. This piece here where it mounts right there is a little bit harder though. So the way you do this is you have to remove this plastic cover to get to the mounting location. The way you take that plastic cover off, your controller is behind there, by the way. You take out these screws up here at the top, and then underneath here, there's other tiny screws in there you got to remove. So you got to get a screwdriver in between the wheel and the frame here to get in there. I was only able to get one of them out, so I couldn't get to the mounting spot for the fender. And as you can see, my solution right here was I drilled another little extra hole in the fender and looped a zip tie through it, and then looped a zip tie through the mounting hole up there. And I attached my rear fender with a zip tie because I'm lazy, and I just didn't want to take the time to try to get in there, and I didn't want to, cross thread any screws or anything. So I mounted mine that way. If you run into that issue, you can always just do what I did. So the fender's on there. The fender works, hasn't gone anywhere. I'm fine with it like that. And you can see the rear derailleur here in the back, which there's no derailleur guard. Something you could probably add because there are holes right here for that possibly. I'm guessing that's what that's for, maybe, or a rear rack, because there's a mounting thing here too. I'll check the website and see if there is any accessories that you can mount on the back of this bike. But it is a Shimano 20. There's your shifting mechanism there. And this rear motor is very small compared to the huge like 750s you see. This one's much smaller. It's almost hidden. You mostly don't even know it's there. Really, it's such a small little motor. It's a 250 watt motor. I'll get a shot of the markings on it for you there. So it says 36 volt, 250 watt. We've got our disc brake here in the back. No issues with the braking for me at all. They worked great, so very happy with that. An interesting thing to note though is the kickstand. So when you put the kickstand up, it is super close to the brake disc. Let me show you here. If we slide this up, it's very close. It's actually, at some points it was rubbing on the disc, and I just kind of twisted right here where the kickstand's mounted and pulled it away from the disc a little bit, and it was fine. It stayed that way for the whole ride, no issue. So but just something to note, if it's rubbing on there, just kind of twist up here where it's mounted and pull it away from that disc a little bit. Here we've got our pedals. They are metal pedals, not plastic, and they don't fold. So I know a lot of the folding bikes have folding pedals, so just know that these don't fold. You can see our pedal assist wire coming through right here. The pedal assist, what I found as I rode it, let's just talk about riding this bike for a minute. So the pedal assist, you've got 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. I didn't really use pedal assist 1 at all. I mean, the top speed on this bike is 15 miles an hour, so I was pretty much hitting that at all times. I kept the bike in 2 or 3, mostly 3. I dropped it down for 2 just to try it, honestly, but I pretty much rode this bike around in pedal assist 3, full power all the time. It runs you up to 15 miles an hour, 25 kilometers an hour, whatever that is. And then, you feel the motor cut out. So I'm always in the highest pedal assist. I didn't really use the throttle a whole lot. I found myself just riding it using the pedal assist. I like that better. As far as comfort while riding, I wish it had a little bit softer seat, but again, that's just my personal preference and something you could very easily change out. I do wish the handlebars were adjustable so you could raise them up just a little bit. For me, being a taller rider, 6 feet tall, I do wish they were a little bit higher. Let's stop here and take a quick look at some of the performance tests I did so you can see how fast you can pedal this bike and also how it climbs hills. All right, so on throttle alone, if you just push the tab here for throttle, you go 25 kilometers an hour. That's it. The motor cuts out after that. So let's see realistically how fast you can pedal it if you want to go faster than that. So we're gonna slowly click up through the mechanical gears. We're in pedal assist 3, and let's see how fast we can pedal this thing. All right, here we go. It takes off pretty quick. I mean, but then, 25 and that's kind of it. But let's see what else she's got. So 5th gear, 6th gear, 7. All right, I'm gonna put some power in the pedals. We're at 37, 38, 40, 41, 43. We're on a bit of a downhill though. So we had a slight downhill there at the end, which pushed us faster. But what I've found is on level ground, you top out right around 40 kilometers. 40 kilometers an hour, that's about max that I can pedal it. All right, here we are at the hill climb spot. It's a moderate hill. It's not crazy steep, but it's a decent hill. You'd have to pedal pretty good if you didn't have an electric bike. So we're gonna attempt this with throttle only first to see if this bike will make it up the hill. I'm not quite sure if it will under just bike power alone, throttle only. Let's find out. Here we go. If it does make it, it'll be real slow. So it is working hard. We're at 9 kilometers an hour, 8. I mean, I think it's gonna make it. It's just, you could walk faster than this. I mean, there you go. This guy's keeping up with me. 7 kilometers an hour. So it made it. It's gonna make it, but it was pretty strenuous for this bike. All right, and we're back at the start. So here's what I'll tell you about hill climbs on this bike. I've ridden this bike a lot of miles actually, and you have to pedal. There's just, I mean, it needs help going up the hills. It makes a huge difference just putting a little bit of effort in the pedals. We're gonna do that now. I'm gonna pedal up the hill in the strongest pedal assist 3, and you'll see how much quicker it goes. But here we go. It's what I've noticed. It's just, it doesn't have the, strong power to just drag you up the hill. You got to give it a little bit of help. And once you give it help, I mean, look at, we're flying comparatively now. I'm putting a little bit of effort in the pedals. Not much. I mean, it's super easy for me to pedal. This is not strenuous. My legs aren't on fire at all. We're just cruising right up. So, 17 kilometers an hour compared to 7. And I felt like I was, overworking the motor on just the throttle. But that was super simple. I mean, and that's exactly, what I think an e-bike should do is just take those difficult parts like that. You take the difficulty out of biking, basically. I mean, you can always decrease the pedal assist if you want and make it harder, but I mean, that was super easy. All right, well, you can see from that hill climb video that it struggled a little bit on that pretty steep hill with throttle only. You really need to pedal this bike up the hills. It needs a little bit of help from you. Once I started pedaling, it was crazy easy to go up the hill. It's got plenty of power then, but throttle only, it was struggling a little bit. You've got the 7 gears here, and I will say that on this bike, you're gonna use them. I found myself riding most of the time probably in 4 and 5, 5 and 6 on the flats, and then when I would get to a hill of any significance, I would downshift it into like 4th, maybe 3rd gear if it was a steeper hill. So I was kind of going between 3 and 6. 7 if I was going for top speed, and I pretty much never use gear 1 and 2. That would just be if there's a crazy steep hill you needed to climb. But if you're gonna ride it around like I do in this just small town atmosphere with some hills that you got to climb, you're going to be shifting the bike. If you're on complete level ground, you live at the beach or something, and you don't need any hill climb power at all, you're probably not going to shift it much. Now let's talk about the range of the bike, because they make a very bold claim on the website that this bike goes 100 kilometers on a single charge. That's like 62 miles. So I was thinking to myself, there's no way it's going to do that. And I did a range test on the bike. I charged it to full and I ran it to completely dead. Let's take a look at some of those clips. Okay, we're out doing our range test on the D11 here. I did a ride already and I put on like 13K. When you turn off the bike, the trip meter resets automatically. So now I'm up to another 11. So I've gone 24K, whatever that is in miles. Off the top of my head, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, I don't know, somewhere in there. And they make, I wanted to do this because they make a very bold claim on the website that this bike goes like 60 miles. I think it says 100 kilometers. So I wanted to see how accurate that was. There's no way. I mean, this battery is 11 amp hour, I think it is. I'll put it on the screen. I don't think it's gonna go that far. We'll see. I got 3 battery bars left on the screen, and I've gone, like I said, 24 kilometers. All right, checking in on our progress. We just hit 21 kilometers and we're still showing 2 bars of battery. I don't know if you can see that. We're at 21, add that to the 13 we did before. Now we're up to, I guess, 34 kilometers and still got battery. So we're gonna keep on trucking here, see how far we get. Okay, well, I'm calling it. I think we are done. We've killed the battery on this bike and we went, there you go, 44 kilometers. Add that on to the 13 I went on the first ride, which, you know, cleared out when I shut the bike off. 57 kilometers. What is that in miles? I don't know, like 30, 34 somewhere. I don't know. Put it on the screen. But just to show you how much juice is left in this bike, I'm gonna push the throttle and we get a mile an hour out of it. It's unusable at this point. It's not really assisting you, especially if you try to go up a hill. It's just, you're pedaling on your own. So I'm calling it there. There's my range, 57 kilometers out of the D11, which is, I'm actually impressed with. All right, well, as you can see, I didn't quite get to 100 kilometers or 62 miles on my range test, but here's what I'll say about range. I was thoroughly impressed with the range. I mean, when I did the range test, it was 40 degrees outside. So I'm all geared up and I'm heavy. I'm a full grown man. I weigh, with all that gear, I'm probably 180 pounds. It's 40 degrees outside. I'm taking this thing up and down some pretty steep hills. I was trying it, you know, trying it on different terrain to see what it was like. So, and I did the whole range test in pretty much pedal assist 3, the highest output. So, you know, this thing is dragging around a 180 pound man in 40 degree weather, up and down hills, and its maximum power output level, and it still went 35 miles, which is crazy. Even though it didn't hit what they say on the website, I'm still shocked that it went that far, because most people aren't going to ride this bike for 35 miles at a time. You're going to ride it, you know, 7 or 8 city blocks or down to the beach and back or something like that, and you're going to put maybe, what, 10, 15 miles on it. So it's got way more range than really you probably need out of it. So I was impressed with the range. Now, I also told you I would show you what it's like for different sized folks to ride this bike. So let's take a look at that. How is it? Can you touch the ground easily?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Not flat foot, doesn't look like, but...
No, I need to put this lower. But...
That's about as low as the seat goes. How's the handlebars? Are they tall enough?
Yeah.
So that's good? Mm-hmm. Not too far of a reach? You could ride this thing?
Yeah.
Alright, give it a shot.
Whoa, it's super light.
Yeah? Way lighter than all the other ones we got. I think you could carry that up a flight of stairs.
I think so.
That's the battery's in it too, so that's as heavy as it gets. Yeah.
It's pretty light. How much does this weigh?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember, like 30 something pounds.
That's easy.
All right, so what are some of the positive features of the D11? Well, I like the styling of it. It looks cool. And it's kind of a hidden e-bike. You don't really know it's an e-bike because the battery's hidden in the seat. You can't see the controller. You can't even really see the motor. So no one even knows you're riding an e-bike. It's very quiet. You don't hear that motor running at all as you ride it. It's small, lightweight, easy to lift, easy to take up and down stairs or put in your car or hide it in a closet if you need to. Very compact, lightweight bike. I do like the styling of it, like I said, and it's got great range for how small of a bike this is. And that little battery, I can't believe that little battery went that far. So very good range. It's also very nimble. You know, with the skinny, small tires, you can really weave in and out of stuff very, very easily. Now, some of the negatives, just depending on your needs. If you want to ride it for a long period of time, that seat's gonna get uncomfortable. And also the handlebars are not adjustable. I wish, you know, for the taller riders, I wish they had some adjustment there. If you live in a very hilly area, it's probably gonna be lacking power for you with only 250 watts. But if you're on level ground or in a city, it's probably gonna be just fine. And for me, the display, I wish it was in miles and miles per hour, just because that's what I'm used to. All right, well, I'm running short on daylight, so I gotta go, but that is the D11. What do you think? Does it match what you're looking for? Everybody's got different needs for the e-bike, so if you think this one might be a match for you, I'll leave a link to their website in the description so you can go check it out, read all the reviews and all the detailed information and specs on the bike, see if it is what you're looking for. If you do decide to purchase, use code CITIZEN50 and save yourself 50 bucks. And you know, I'm not sponsored or paid or commissioned or anything by Fiido, so that's just a code for you to save 50 bucks out of your wallet. So hope you found this helpful to get my you know, average person perspective on the Fiido D11, and go check it out, see if it might be a match for what you need. Thanks for watching.